Hey everybody, welcome back to Top Ends with Twins. This week we're going to discuss what we can take away from Game Week 1, maybe find if there's some pretenders, and as a talk's going to be kept to a minimum. Hey everybody, welcome back to Top Ends with Twins. We're pumped to have you here for another episode. There's some crazy stuff happening in the Premier League right now. But first, we're going to do a quick little check-in, see how things are going in both of our worlds. Luke, tell the people how you're doing.
Good, I can walk.
He's moving along, guys. He really is.
Yes, making progress since even the last podcast we had. So this is very good. And my Game Week 1 team in FPL came off to I'd almost say a running start.
It gave you a really big boost, I would say.
It did. Started off the season with 72 points, which, being a co-host of the same podcast, it makes sense. We both ended up on 72 points. Paul, wait, no, 73.
Yeah,
Paul's
Luke, I was about to say,
Sorry,
we're going to have to do a little revisionist history here.
Yes, Paul's on 73.
Sanchez got that extra point.
Yeah, slightly topped me on that one. But we both had very good weeks. So very excited for FPL to be back. You know, if I would have had 30, I'd be depressed. And we all know how that goes. But it's Game Week 1. There is a long, long way to go before anything within rank or many leagues begins to matter. So a good start. Happy to be there. But yeah, all is good here. Paul, how has everything been for you?
You know, I'm really glad the Premier League and FPL went well because I needed it. But things are going good. Arsenal pull out a win at the first win of the weekend against Manchester United at Old Trafford. It's kind of a scary match to watch, you know, not really that fun as an Arsenal fan, but it really was great to have the Premier League back, to see all the games going on last weekend. It's just, honestly, it makes my weekends are great, but it's just so fun to just sit there. You'll sit there and watch football for 4 hours, you know?
Yeah.
Like I was up and early for that 7:30 game this week,
which was highly disappointing.
Yeah.
That was a
shit game.
The most boring game of the weekend.
What is it? Villa and
Newcastle.
Yeah. You would expect that one to be a cracker, you know?
It's pretty bad whenever Aston Villa register their first shot in the second half. That just kind of tells you the lack of creativity, and it seemed very rusty to me.
It felt like a preseason match.
It did. I think we kind of talked about
a championship match.
Yeah,
like, really.
It felt very rusty. Newcastle looked better than Aston Villa without a doubt, but both teams will have a lot of work they want to do, following Game Week 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a lot of really interesting storylines in FPL this week. Before we go into those, were there any highlights within your team that you wanted to share with the listeners out there, Paul?
Well, I mean, I think my back line is always something that I'm really concerned about because it's always hard for me to find points there. I seem to struggle with defenders, so having El Nouri be start off with 9 points is great. He actually got on DEFCON, which I honestly was buying him for more so of his
the attacking
threat. So I mean, if he's somebody that can end up on DEFCON points match in, match out, I mean, give me that. I mean, he had 15 DEFCON defensive contributions.
Yeah,
I mean, that's awesome. That's great. And then you got the clean sheet, one bonus point. I mean, week in, week out, if I can get points out of him like that with the occasional goal or assist,
that's great.
I will say, though, he didn't look as forward as I really expected. He kind of was more of the, I don't know. I thought he'd be in more of a marauding role. Kind of didn't do that, but we'll see. We know Pep likes to adapt, change things, so we'll see how the season goes.
Tactically, looking at the way City set up, I think they might be pushing more towards the mindset of using fullbacks and more of a defensive setup, because now they have
the creativity.
Other deep lying midfielders who can push forward instead.
Reijned.
But we'll see Nouri pushing forward. He will. Yeah. We will definitely talk about Reijned here in a second. Yes, he's a very hot commodity at the moment. But yeah, City was very interesting. And okay, who else stood out in your team outside of him?
Kudus was great with 10 points. He had 2 assists. My captain was Haaland, which is always great. I mean, having him score 2 goals, I think, Did he end up on bonus? I think
Haaland? Yeah, Haaland had 3 bonus.
Oh, he had all 3 bonus.
2 goals.
That's what we want.
2 goals should pretty much lock that in.
And I mean, the thing with Haaland too is I think it's the same conversation with Salah that, I mean, at a certain point, maybe you have them just to protect your rank, to protect against other people you're playing in your mini leagues. But I mean, these 14.5 assets, they need to be returning week in and week out if they're going to be worth it from a financial perspective to be in our team. So it's great to see Haaland start off well.
Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer. It is not frigid. He's waiting for the cold front to come in.
It is in fuego at Stamford Bridge right now.
Yeah, it's a little hot. He'll adapt though. I'm not concerned. I also have Florian Wirtz in my team, 2 points. Don't love that from an 8.5 asset. We'll give him a couple game weeks to settle in, but could be the door soon if he doesn't start performing quickly, because there's a lot of really lower assets that could free up a lot of budget to change things in my team.
Mm-hmm.
Because my second forward, this is the last point I'll have on my team, was Fulkrug, who had an absolute stinker. So we'll see if he even plays this coming game week against Chelsea. I mean, it was a bit of a stretch. I think it was kind of like a game week 1 transfer for me, but they play Chelsea at home, Nottingham Forest away, and Tottenham at home. So not a good run for West Ham. They're going to start off the season probably in a really bad place, I would guess.
That was what I was going to say next, is West Ham are really kind of in this position where with their assets, you looked at game week 1, you're like, Sunderland away, that's a great fixture, and turned out to be a horrible fixture for them. And now they have that difficult run coming up where you're a little concerned. I would not be surprised to see a lot of people quickly move off West Ham assets.
Yeah,
after
you'll
that.
probably see Bowen drop. His ownership's going to drop. I'm sure Fulkrug's already has.
But then Bowen's going to score next week.
Then Bowen will score.
Yeah.
He's just one of those players, man. I just can't believe like a team like Arsenal, Tottenham, any of these bigger squads. I mean, actually, wait, sorry, Tottenham's not a big squad. Probably like Arsenal, Newcastle,
Chelsea definitely fall in that.
I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. I'm really surprised he hasn't moved to a top 6 club, but I don't know. That's enough about my team. Let's hear how your team did since they had a good week. They really did well.
Ended up on 72 points. I got double Tottenham clean sheet from Vicario on a 9-pointer and then Van de Ven on 6. Interestingly enough, Van de Ven was the highest XG underperformer. I think he had an XG of about 0.6 and ended up not getting a goal because he had a header. There's a really good opportunity on a set piece, and he missed it, which would have been incredible. That would have taken the week to another level. But Van de Ven's very highly owned. I think he's a popular asset. He's currently owned at 27% teams.
The 4.5 price point.
Yeah. Good fixtures coming up, so it makes sense. On a different note, on my back line, I had double force defense as well.
Yeah.
And that did not pay out for this week. The clean sheet was killed by Thiago after penalty. Really dumb way to concede a penalty. I can't remember who it was on Forest, but they just stuck their arm up in the box and hit the ball. Of course, it's going to be a penalty. Come on now.
I mean, we have Bournemouth defenders just smacking the ball out of the air like they're playing volleyball.
That's crazy.
That shit was how is that shit not a red card in my opinion?
I don't know. And then
that's crazy.
And then the match officials, their official account makes a statement saying that it didn't significantly impact the path of the ball and all the.
It's insane.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Premier League referees suck. Let's just be real.
But aren't they usually biased towards Liverpool? This time they were against them.
Well, I know. Conspiracy Paul.
Paul's like, damn it, he's right.
No, you're right. I mean, that just shows you that they're so bad that even with a directive, they can't get it right.
All right, Conspiracy Paul, go sit in the corner for 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, they did get the David Coote title, so...
Yeah, okay, we're not going to talk about that. Next, let's go to the midfield. I have Reijned, Palmer, Wirtz, Bruno Fernandes, and Kudus. Reijned and Kudus end up in Team of the Week with their 10-pointers. Really happy to see that. It was weird. Reijnd's goal and assist, and he ends up only on 1 bonus, I believe. It might actually have been 0 bonus.
Well, I mean, so Haaland ended up on 3. We know El Nouri was on 1. Was he on 2?
He got 0 bonus points for a goal and assist, which is kind of surprising.
We need to look more into the bonus system right now.
Yeah. And then so Palmer disappointing, Vert's a little disappointing, but he's just going to take a little time. He'll stay on the team. And then Bruno Fernandes. We knew going into the Arsenal fixture that was going to be tough. I think pretty much everyone who has him in their team got him for a longer hold than one game week when they have Arsenal in the first game. So that's okay. We can take that one. And then I have Gyökeres up top with a 1-pointer and Haaland with my captaincy for 26 points.
Mm-hmm.
The last note I want to make about my team is I do have Gunmanson, Leeds new left back, on my team, and he got a 9-pointer as first on my bench. So already benched a Hall from a defender. So
I mean, a Leeds, I don't think I would not have been ballsy enough to start a Leeds defender against Everton. I mean, we know what Ellen Road's like. It's a really great environment to play in. Your first game back in the Premier League in 2 seasons, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the energy was going to be there, but like, I don't know, man. I don't think I would go there all season. Leeds is just a team that's chronically up and down.
They are. I think you can also see that they're making investments in the squad, and they have tried to improve.
No, they really
raise
want
the
to
level.
They're trying to stay up.
And there's a good shot because I think teams like West Ham could maybe be in jeopardy. Look at Wolves.
Can you imagine if West Ham go down?
Yeah, Brentford's going to be in some trouble. I think they'll be fine. I don't think it's as catastrophic as people are thinking, but they could be in trouble at some point.
I don't know, man.
We'll see.
I think Brentford are a strong contender right now.
Potentially so. But we'll just have to wait to see how that plays out. During this podcast, what we're going to try to do today is we're going to just kind of bounce around a lot of different topics, similar to last week, where the one main focus we're going to be having throughout the course of this podcast is what have we learned from game week 1? And we always get to this place right after the first game week is played where there's one player that is the clear and obvious choice everyone should have known ahead of the deadline. And this year, that is Reijned. He looked really great. The thing about him is he gets the goal, the assist. He gets a really good return, 10 points in his first, showing for City. But he looks really good while he's doing it. Right? He's one of those assets that catches your eye the way he plays. And not only the return, but that factor is driving the amount of transfers in up exponentially. So as of checking this earlier today, he was at 860,000 transfers in to managers' teams. So, Paul, my question to you is, do FPL managers need to rein it in, or is the hype worth it?
I believe in Reijned as a player. I've watched a lot of AC Milan matches over the past couple of years, and I think we even may have talked about it before the season started. Like, we mentioned that he's going to be a huge asset to the City team from that midfield position. Obviously, we've already seen that he can contribute goals. He can contribute assists. He's going to help in the build-up. He has a high motor. He's going to contribute to regaining the ball out of lost possession, all these different things. He's going to do great. I think 800,000 transfers in for him this week is kind of crazy. He's playing for the manager that we know loves to do whatever FPL managers don't want him to do. And I think Pep he's really going to fuck with a lot of people.
I'm convinced Pep keeps an eye on the transfers in FPL, where he checks the app and he's like, oh, this guy's not playing today.
yeah, Pep, if you're listening right now, we know what's going on. We know what's happening.
We are on to you.
And Luke is going to be pissed if you don't start Reijned.
In order for us not to rat you out, you have to come on the next podcast. So,
yeah, challenge
has been issued. Pep Guardiola, dare you come on the pod? Yeah. Back to reality there, but Reijned is a really good choice, and I think what potentially makes the 860,000 transfers a good idea is his price point, being that he's 5.5 million, and you can get a route into this City team that, as we predicted going into this season, is a lot more creative. They're going to be a lot more direct. Haaland's going to be a lot more involved with a lot more opportunities. Of course, if you can get into that attacking portion of their team for 5.5 million, people are going to go there. And I think the big thing is everyone's asking, why did I not have him in my team to start out with? So, only reason I had him, we've talked about him previously. Obviously, like, everyone knows who he is. He played AC Milan. That's a big club. But it was the brace that he got in the preseason that really, that made my warning signs start going off. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, 5.5 million with City's run, they're going to be better this season. It was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. I mean, he was probably in maybe like, I'd say 10% of the teams I was playing with before the deadline, especially more towards the tail end. I was like, 5.5 to get into the City attack, essentially, like you said. It's a great vehicle to accomplish that. Another City asset, I think, though, that could be interesting at points in the season is Oscar Bob.
Yeah.
He's somebody that, just watching him and how creative he is on the ball and what he can create on that right side. Like, if he starts falling into goals, I think he's also around that 5.5 price point, right?
He is currently at 5.5 as well, which it's difficult because if you have Rangers at 5.5, he just got this big return.
Yeah, you don't want to move off him. There's
no one's going to move off him. So it gets tricky. But Oscar Bob does currently have an ownership of 0.3% in the game, which is really nice.
Talk about a differential to a differential,
Yeah, that is mega differential there. So just something to keep an eye on, really. And going back to the original point we were making here, I do think Rangers is worth the hype. I don't think FPL managers need to rein it in right now. Sorry.
you and your puns.
You all should see the notes that we made for the podcast.
Why don't you go ahead and read the next one?
The next note I made was easy goes it. Highlighting no one else than Eze, who is now going to Arsenal. Paul, are you happy?
I don't have words for this transfer, Luke. This is gonna, for use of Twitter terminology, this is gonna feed families for generations. Like
Get out of here.
It really is a dynamic shaping transfer, I think, in the Premier League. It's gonna give Arsenal the ability. If you watch the United game, there was just moments that were lacking in transition, where now with teams, if they want to possess the ball against Arsenal or even counter Arsenal, they're going to have to worry about it. Most of the times, if they were trying to play out, the ball would somehow end with Martinelli, who is just, he's just going to run with the ball. Like, he doesn't know how to run with his head up. He doesn't know how to find that next ball, basically, to Gyökeres. That's no longer going to be a problem. And Eze with the ball at his feet, he, from everywhere on the pitch, he's a problem. Like, he can pick up the ball at the midline and find Gyökeres with a through ball from 50 feet away. He can displace two defenders, find Odegaard, send it on to Saka, 1v1 situation,
And I think this solves a huge issue they've had too, where that left half space, Odegaard loves occupying the right half space. And that opens up so much space for Saka, for Ben White, for Timber. They can make that overlapping run if they want to. And everything is fed from that portion, especially creativity-wise. But now you can put Eze in that left half space, and he can create and really maybe even unlock Martinelli or whoever's playing on that left wing if Eze's not playing on the left.
Yeah.
What we could see, and, tell me if I'm wrong, Paul, here. You might disagree. We could see Eze start on the left wing, and then he's probably going to push into that inner channel. And then you just have the fullback pushing into the real left winger spot.
That's I was literally about to touch on this point, Luke, that I think we're going to see a really cool dynamic develop between Eze and Calafiori, who obviously, Arsenal probably have a different option. They can play left back with MLS. He's going to be probably lined up in matches. Like, if Arsenal are playing a team where they feel like they're probably going to target that side, which, as you saw in the United match, there were times where United was purposefully targeting Calafiori where they were trying to isolate Mboma with him. And there were moments that he struggled with that. So it's going to be a give and take for Arsenal about how they're going to play that. But having Calafiori, who is so creative from a left back position, play with Eze, and then to me, it's really a gravity equation. that Eze with the ball at his feet is going to cause so many problems. How are you going to have two people constantly standing with Saka?
Right.
Because if he moves the ball on quickly, they move. To me, it just changes the dynamics of everything.
My question to you, Paul, is Eze now an option in FPL? He's priced at 7.5 million. Is he someone that you would consider for your FPL team within the next couple of game weeks?
I would wait. I would assume that he's probably going to be in the team for the Liverpool matchup in game week 3. All the reporting that we're seeing, obviously we're not trusted sources or anything, but we're seeing that it seems like Anfield is the speculated date for when he'll probably first be with Arsenal, like in the team sheet and everything. So I would guess I wouldn't bring him in before that date. Like I would probably wait till the week after. I mean, he's at a 7.5 price point. Let's say if you're somebody like me with Verts in your team, kind of wait it out till that week, see what your team looks like, and then if he comes in and plays against Liverpool, puts on good performance, I mean, I think it's a great way to get an Arsenal attack. I mean, personally, if I have Saka in my team right now, I could drop from Saka to Eze and free up 3 million instantly, you know?
Right.
Which gives me the ability to change my forward line, which obviously is going to need changing, you know?
Yeah, you mentioned Verts there, right? He's currently the highest transferred out player as of now, around 450,000 transfers out of FPL managers teams. I think a lot of people are going to come to regret that at some point. And
I would say so.
The thing about Eze, it's 7.5 million. If you could go from Saka to Eze, and we see that hypothetically, we see Eze becomes a very reliable starter. He's in good positions. I would be more than fine with people going directly from Saka to Eze to save that 2.5 million, because the price points are so difficult this year. Even here's the thing: I have Gyökeres in my team. I know he's going to score 5 this weekend when I put the armband on him.
Yeah, for sure.
My thing that I would be struggling with is Gyökeres worth the price point of 10 million, while I could potentially be getting Eze at 7.5. So
I mean, we're just going to have to see where the goals and assists fall, though, because if we're just looking at this from an FPL equation, which this is an FPL podcast, so we are right now, it's just we're going to have to figure out where the production's going to come from, because I mean, we could see a situation where Eze is the prime creator in this Arsenal attack now, but he's finding those first balls, and then somebody else is getting the assist off that.
Right.
So I mean, it just depends on where all of this falls, where the dynamics are. You know.
Very true. Very true.
And who knows with Arteta, he may not want to start Eze at first. I mean, he's kind of crazy, so who knows?
Yeah, it's been a crazy day for a lot of people, and I think Tottenham Hotspur fans are in the opposite end of this, right? Where they think they're getting Eze. It seems like he had been locked in.
Sorry to laugh if there's any Spurs fans listening to this.
Yes, let's not drive them away, Paul. And the thing about it is, you think you're getting Eze, you need that replacement for James Maddison after his really devastating injury, and now you don't have a 10. So where do Tottenham go? Because as far as readily available 10s that are out there that you feel are battle tested at Premier League level, they missed out on Gibbs White. They missed out on Eze.
Yeah, they don't really grow on trees, do they?
They're probably gonna have to go out of the Premier League to find someone.
Yeah,
and then you never know how that goes, right?
Have you met Gio Reyna?
Oh my God. That might be one of the most out of pocket things you've said on this podcast. Give the man some time to rehabilitate his career. And
no, I know. We're not. Gio's gonna figure it out. That wasn't a dig at him. That was more of a dig at Spurs. But I don't know, Luke. So I know one of the things we really wanted to focus on in this podcast is things that we took away from just match week 1. And I think a good way to focus on that, because I mean, as FPL managers, premiums are what eat up a lot of our budgets. So we want to make sure that they're returning, that we feel confident in them. So let's just quickly run through. I mean, we kind of talked about Haaland a little bit, but Let's just give our thoughts on Haaland, Palmer, Salah, and Saka.
Okay,
Start with Haaland.
Haaland's going to be the best FPL asset in the game this season.
Agreed.
Out of the premiums. Maybe there's someone else that's better value out there because at 14 million, it's even if you have a great season, it's hard to live up to that price tag for FPL value, strictly speaking. But I think he's going to be the best premium this season.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about earlier, City are looking very creative. Pep looks like he's got his squad figured out pretty easily.
Is the Pep's back in his step? Is what you're saying?
Very good, very good.
Yeah, had to get in your little bag of tricks there.
He's also reining in the boys. Sorry, had to go back to that previous joke for a little bit there. But moving on from that, because we'll just act like that didn't happen. Paul, you can go edit that part.
Maybe. Actually, I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah, go ahead and leave it. But City have their mojo back, is what it feels like. And Haaland is going to score a lot of goals this year. He scored 22, 25, something like that last season. And he had the worst season he could have potentially had. So
City just did in general.
If he pushes 35, 40 goals, maybe even more, would not surprise me this season.
Yeah. I also, though, I agree with you. I think City looked a lot better than they... Like, at any point last season, this match, they probably looked better than they did at any point then, before the Rodri injury. I just don't want to go too far with it right now. It's one match week. They played Wolves, who were missing probably 2 or 3 of their best players from last season. So there's going to be some give and take there. I don't think City are going to be perfect this year, but I still think we're probably going to see a resurgent City team this season. I think I agree with you on the Haaland total. We'll see what City themselves do,
Yeah.
I think there's going to be tough moments whenever they play teams in the top 6 against say, Arsenal, who beat them 5-1 last season.
Yeah. I think that's a big test, right? How top 6 teams are matching up against each other. That's going to be when we really figure out what it's like. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by a bug that's flying around right now. Okay, going back to, City is what they are. I think the next premium that we should discuss, and I'll let you go first on this one, is
we're going to talk about
Cole Palmer.
Yeah, that's where we're going. Sorry, I didn't mean to catch up there.
First.
So, a little bit of a fact about Cole Palmer. The last time he scored an open play goal in the Premier League, last January, which for somebody of his caliber is crazy. And I think we could see over the first 6 game weeks, I think it's going to tell us a lot about how the whole season is going to play out for Palmer. Obviously, he's somebody that can have 3 goals in one half. He's great. He can score 1 goal, have 3 assists in a game. But can he consistently provide returns in our FPL teams? I don't know. I don't know if with this current iteration of this Chelsea team, obviously he came onto the scene when Chelsea was really, really just bad. Like they were not that good. And then with Maresca last year, he had great moments, but it really wasn't super consistent besides that first half of the season. So just at somebody that I think that's 10.5 million, that obviously has shown that they can have like these great moments. My big question is, can he do it consistently? Because I don't want somebody in my FPL team at 10.5 eating up all that budget. And it's like, okay, well, a goal every once in a while, or 3 goals every once in a while. It's still, to me, I'd rather have somebody in my team that's going to consistently return and then have those high upside moments,
That's what I see for all of Chelsea's attackers. You have Pedro Neto, you have João Pedro, you have Cole Palmer. I think Cole Palmer is one of the more reliable out of that group, right?
For X minutes.
By no Gittins. Well, not X minutes necessarily, but reliably creating opportunities, being in good positions. Cole Palmer created the most chances in the Premier League last season out of any attacker.
Only because Saka was hurt, but true.
Sure, fair enough. And Saka was hurt, so that's true. But the people around him were not finishing those chances he was creating. Mm-hmm. And that creates a scenario where your mindset starts to change. When that mindset starts to change, you lose that confidence. And I think Cole Palmer is someone that he's very, very instinctive, and he just goes and plays. Whenever he's in his head about how he's playing, that's going to make a big difference. to how he performs on the pitch. So and then the final point about Chelsea here, and that will apply to Cole Palmer, is they didn't have a preseason. They're the Club World Cup. They barely had any time off at all. That really kind of causes for you to go into the season and just not be prepared. So that's where I think I missed the biggest point out of all this going into my Game Week 1 team is Chelsea just aren't going to be ready for the season. And you could see that in their fixture this week. They just didn't look good. They looked slow, and that's why it ended up being 0-0. I mean, really, as they should have had that goal.
The guy just bleeds red. What can we say? What can we say? He just wanted to that London rival.
Stick it to the Blues. But I think Cole Palmer is a hold. I wouldn't overly freak out at this point, but someone to keep an eye on at that price point.
I do want to look at this real quick, Luke, though, while we're talking about Cole Palmer. For Chelsea, their fixture run to start the season. So basically they started out the season against Crystal Palace. They play West Ham away, Fulham at home, Brentford away, United away, Brighton at home. Around the United fixture, I would say United, we'll see how it goes after match week 1. They looked a lot better in the first game of the season against Arsenal. Things are going to kind of flip for Chelsea after game week 5, where we're going to see kind of what they're made of. And I mean, I don't know, man. If Palmer's not returning consistently by game week 5, he could be out of my team.
Yeah, and you also have a window there where he could go out of the team in game week 5, and then you bring him back in game week 9, because Chelsea have one of the best 4 match runs out of anyone, where game week 9 they go Sunderland at home, which is a very good fixture, Tottenham away, which I think should be a good attacking fixture, Wolves at home, and then Burnley away. And then they go Arsenal at home and then Leeds away. So that's a really good run where they're playing all the promoted sides in almost a 6 game week stretch. Sorry, hard to get that out, but something to think about there. Okay. I think everyone knows how we feel about Palmer and Haaland. Let's move on to Salah.
Are you talking about the King fraud? Is that what you're talking about?
When he scored that goal. And
Come on, man.
For context, as we said, neither one of us have Salah in our team.
The scam artist.
So that this naturally is going to slant how we feel about it. But
dude, he walks through the whole match, and then shows up on the left side. Literally takes 2 tiny dribbles with horrible defending from Bournemouth, and just slots it with his right foot. Like, come on, like. I'm just salty because as a non-Salah owner, I'm like, what that would have done for my overall rank if he wouldn't have gotten that goal, which we can both agree on that.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, it's just so annoying when you don't have Salah and he gets those late goals. Because he targets those late goals. He essentially is I'm not gonna say that. He's like Blake Griffin back whenever he was younger in the NBA, just missing layups and padding those rebound stats, you know? Like, fine, stat pad, whatever, Russell Westbrook, do whatever you want, you know?
Well, the thing about Salah, and shout out those NBA references from Paul just now.
Yeah.
Salah has openly talked about he plays FPL, and he almost always captains himself as well.
Which, I mean, fair.
And
I would too.
Here's the thing. I think that the way he talks about it, I would not be surprised if that kind of influences how he plays. The actual Premier League matches he's in, I wouldn't be shocked.
Like you're saying that he's pushing for those late goals because he's
a little greedy. I think whenever he's like, this fixture's kind of over, he's like, well, I could add some bonus points to my total.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
You may be right.
It is my conspiracy corner of this episode, but I would not be surprised if Salah had FPL in the back of his mind. You know there are players out there. Like, look at Micah Richards, for example. This man lives and breathes FPL at this point. He's doing all the broadcasts, but he's obsessed with FPL. And if he's obsessed with it now, I bet he was obsessed with it when he played too.
Yeah. Yeah, which Micah Richards, join the podcast.
Yeah, come on, Big Meeks.
We'll get Kyle on here too, and Kyle will just cry for 2 hours to meet Micah Richards.
What a combo that would be.
That would be great.
That would be great.
That.
I think the banter would be great between them. Yes. Okay. He'll be on the podcast the week after because Pep Guardiola will be on next week, as we talked about. And so, here's the thing. We've talked about my thing about Salah, and we haven't fully fleshed this out. I still think he's not going to be a great asset to have this season because tactically Liverpool are set up very differently than they were last year. They have a lot more creators and facilitators in their team where Salah does not have to do everything. He's going to have games where he gets 2, 3, maybe even 4 returns. That's going to happen every once in a while. But the season last year he had where he was averaging 13, 14 points per match for a 10-game week stretch, I don't think that's going to happen. And because of that, I'm okay with not having him in my team. So,
I have a hot take for you.
Let's hear it.
I think Ekitike may be the one in that Liverpool attack. He really could be. I mean, the way he plays with the ball at his feet, how creative he is. The big thing is probably, is he going to be able to clinically finish throughout the whole season? But he could just be put in such good positions that they're just going to be tap-ins. I mean, if you're looking at a team where he plays with Verts, McAllister, Gakpo on the left, Salah on the right, I mean, they're just going to constantly be putting pressure on defenses. It's going to be really crazy to see how this Premier League season unwinds, really. Because, I mean, I feel like there's 5 teams that are going to consistently be scoring goals, and just like I think we're going to see some great football this season. Not to completely derail the conversation from Liverpool, but yeah, no, I watched some YouTube videos about Ekitike before the season started, and I was like, oh, he's probably going to be a good fit based on like his play style, where he's so creative, he can drop it back, he can really like connect play very well. But I was so impressed in that first game week.
The main concern with him, and a lot of people were speculating about this, is his finishing going to be good enough? He had a really good chance, and he took his chance to start out with. And it's something we've talked about off the podcast. It's kind of the same situation with Gyökeres coming into Arsenal. You want him to get that early goal where the confidence doesn't start to wane over time, as he's like, oh, I haven't scored my first goal yet in the Premier League and for Arsenal. So Ekitike getting that early on is a really good sign for him and his potential success as a club. What's going to be the most influential thing is if Isak goes to Liverpool or not. If Isak goes there, he's going to start. Ekitike is going to be the sub. Maybe they'll play them together. I'm not sure.
The crazy thing to me, though, is I don't think Liverpool need Isak.
Yeah, but if you can get Isak, you get him. It doesn't matter. It does not.
I get it. But I mean, at this point, I'm like, you just don't really need him for the 45 million they're going to have to pay for him. And that I understand that's crazy to say they don't need Isak, but like, obviously you're not going to turn him down if you can get him. But I just don't think it's needed.
You're running a risk by just going with Ekitike because last season he vastly underperformed his XG, which is not. One season is a very small sample size. The season before that, he overperformed his XG. So maybe you think that averages out somewhere in the middle. If he is near his expected goals, Liverpool will be fine because they're going to create a ton of great chances for him. Where the risk is if he starts underperforming that and you don't have a striker you can rely on. So, and we know who Isak is. Isak is one of the best. Maybe last season at stretches, he was the best striker in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Van Dijk will tell you about that.
Yeah, no kidding. Isak pointing behind him. Now they could be playing together. We'll see what happens with that. But Ekitike is a very good option. Another striker that we have in our notes that we want to talk about is none other than the woodchuck who could chuck wood, Chris Wood.
This fucker, man.
He continues to amaze.
You know who Chris Wood is?
I don't know.
He's the annoying little brother that just keeps pestering you, and eventually, honestly, I know nothing about Chris Wood. It wouldn't surprise me if he had an older brother. Like, I'm just saying that this man just consistently keeps doing it, and I don't know at what point I'm like, am I just an idiot? Why don't I just jump on the train? You know?
Yeah, I get that.
It's crazy. It really is crazy.
I've kind of asked myself the same question too, because he's only owned by 18.4% of managers, priced at 7.6 million. I can easily get there if I want to. I could go Gyökeres to Wood and be happy with that, which maybe I will do that at some point in the future. But the thing is, this guy keeps overperforming his expected goals. This previous week, when Forest played Brentford, Chris Wood had an XG of 0.45 and scores 2 goals.
God,
with that. It's something that after an entire season last year of him doing this, maybe we just need to expect that's who he is.
I mean, the interesting thing too, though, is like Forest just bought, I think it was a striker from La Liga for around 35 million. So, I mean, that's a pretty sizable investment there where I don't know if this is just for depth now that they're in Europa League, which is, don't get me started on that shit. But, like, maybe he'll be pushed. I don't know if it's just for competition, for rotation minutes, because they're going to be playing in 2 heavy leagues. But, like, I don't know. I don't know what Forster. I thought they would just spend a little budget getting like a suitable like backup, you know. But that, to me, that's a large investment for somebody at a striker position.
Potentially, the thought is they might sell Chris Wood at some point, and I think they want to have someone who they can get used to the system, build them into it, and then that's your Chris Wood replacement whenever you decide to cash him in.
Yeah,
and Chris Wood is older, so I don't know how much you're going to get for him.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
I also really do like though the Douglas Luiz signing by Nottingham Forest.
I do too.
That's gonna he was one of the best pivot players in the Premier League for a couple seasons when he was at Villa. We'll see if he's still in form.
I have a potential career path for Chris Wood that I could see emerging over the next year.
God, where are you going with this?
Real Madrid. Mbappe picks up an injury, and Real Madrid swoop in, steal Chris Wood from Nottingham Forest, and then he goes and wins a Champions League with Real Madrid. I'm telling you, crazier things have happened.
That is true.
Crazier things have happened, but it just feels like Chris Wood that something like crazy like that could happen to him.
That would be pretty wild.
I don't know if he makes the move there. No offense, Chris Wood, but I really hope you start underperforming your XG. So, you know, there's that. But there's some really interesting notes here within the XG table when you look at them.
Mm-hmm.
For one, Erling Haaland led the Premier League in XG. Makes sense. He had a tap in and he had a couple chances he missed that were even easier than the second goal he scored. That if you didn't have Haaland in your team,
he bags 3.
You're kind of lucky.
We're honestly both probably sitting top 100K right now, right?
Maybe. I think there were a lot of people, decent amount of teams that had Haaland, but
yeah,
his ownership's going to continue to go up. It was around 21%, I believe, at the Gameweek 1 deadline. It's up to 28% right now.
Yeah, that makes
so
sense.
He's just going to keep coming in teams. Other notable XG performers, Antoine Semenyo with the brace, but that's on an XG of 0.84. So, you know, vastly overperformed that.
The second finish where he kind of cut in.
Yeah, it was really
put
nice.
It back on his left foot and just like paused Allison. Semenyo was a wonderful footballer.
Rumor is Konate is still turning and looking around trying to find him.
I mean, Van Dijk's still staring at him from 20 feet away. I mean, that's not a good look for him.
Yeah. So, yeah, lots of really good options. Another player that I think something to keep on the radar is Matt O'Reilly for Brighton. We know that he is on penalties now. If he stays at Brighton, which I imagine he's going to stay. There were rumors about Juventus. I haven't seen anything the last couple of days. If he stays there, he's someone that we could really consider to be on, you know, the FPL watch list, I think.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I mean, Brighton once again giving up a late goal to not keep a clean sheet. I mean, it's at this point, it's just a story that writes itself again and again. And maybe Brighton can change that narrative. It's just one game. We don't want to jump to too many conclusions. That's kind of the point of this podcast, But God, as somebody that's going to probably start a Brighton defender in the next game week, it's quite scary.
It is. It really is. Yeah, I think that, that kind of highlights our discussion on premiums. We wanted to make sure we went through that. The next team that I think is worthwhile mentioning is Bournemouth. Bournemouth have a really good fixture run upcoming where so let me pull up their fixtures real fast. I've got it right here. They go Wolves at home in game week 2, Tottenham away in game week 3, Brighton at home in game week 4, Newcastle at home game week 5, and Leeds away in game week 6. That's a really good stretch run there. And that's why I think we see Semenyo becoming so popular. Paul, do you think Semenyo is a good pick? Would you be bringing him into your team if you were going to make a transfer this week?
No, I think that if we see those teams last year that were really good, like we've talked about this pretty extensively, Brentford, Fulham, I would maybe put Nottingham Forest in that class a little bit. Teams that kind of surprised us last season. I think Bournemouth are the best bet to probably maintain that same level or do better. They kept their coach. They added a couple pieces. They did lose a lot of their defense, but I mean, from an attacking standpoint, I mean, I really just love what they put together. I mean, Semenyo is a top class player. I mean, he's somebody that obviously, as you can see, he can pick the ball up at the half line, dribble, eliminate a couple people, finish right past the keeper.
The big question with Semenyo, I think, over the last few seasons has been, is he going to start converting chances? He's someone that is a high quantity shooter, as we would say in basketball. He takes a lot of shots. Last season, he was 3rd overall for most shots taken in the Premier League. So if we see him starting to convert these chances at a higher clip, he's someone that could he'd be coming into a lot of teams very quickly if he starts converting chances.
Yeah.
So something to keep an eye on. And, I think with that stretch run that Bournemouth have, I would advise people out there, if you don't have a Bournemouth asset, try to get one in your team because they have a really good run upcoming and you can keep them in there for the next 9 game weeks, at least, in my opinion. It gets a little trickier on game week 10 and 11, but I think they're great options to have right now.
Yeah, and Luke, a little funny thing that for any of our American listeners that may be out there, if you ever wanted to play FPL and bring in an American FPL asset, Tyler Adams against Liverpool, do you know how many DEFCON contributions he had?
Let me guess, 17?
19.
That
is pretty wild. I mean, he was almost to the point where if they would allow double the points if you get to 24,
right?
I mean, he was close to that territory. So that's somebody. I mean, where if they keep a clean sheet and Tyler Adams gets DEFCON every match, that's somebody at his price point.
What is his price point?
It is 5.0.
Okay.
I mean,
at 5.0.
I'm not saying that that's like I advise that, but I mean, if you're playing the game looking for DEFCON points at 5.0 and a quality team that honestly does like to sit off a little bit, not a bad fit.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's definitely going to be one of those players that consistently hits DEFCON. The only concern with him is there's not much attacking potential there at all.
Hey, ask Mexico about it, man. ask Mexico. Just ask them. Don't watch where you speak those words, Luke. Which podcast you're talking on?
That might not be good context for some of the listeners out there, but we'll go with it.
Just Google Tyler Adams goal against Mexico.
There you go, and that'll show up as his only career goal.
Wow, there's a lot of hate. There's a lot of hate right now. The USMNT players are struggling enough right now, Luke. Let's be positive.
Fair enough. Okay, so other quick topic we wanted to touch on is we've now talked about some key things that stood out to us for FPL in Game Week 1. we want to talk about potential pretenders who may look like they're going to be great assets or great teams to look at for FPL, but they might not be the best thing for our teams in the long run. Chris Wood is someone who we have mentioned here, and Paul put that down, but I have to tend to disagree with that because I think he might actually be a good asset to have over the long course of the season. Let's talk about it, though.
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of what we were talking about earlier. I mean, I'm just not a believer, man. I'm just not. But I mean, I do. In saying that, at the 7.5 price level with all the transfers that have happened, he probably does look like the best 7.5 right now at this time. I mean, you have Solanke. He doesn't have a 10 behind him. You have Mateta, just lost as a 7.5s. Who else is there? Solanke,
I think
Mateta.
that's it, but I'll look. Keep going, though.
But I don't know. At that price point, he's probably going to be one of the best forwards. I don't know. I'm just not a believer, and that's more of an eye test thing. It's more of a like maybe he'll fall off. I don't know. I'm not hoping on his downfall. I'm really not. But like I don't know. It's not an FPL asset that I'll go to, but maybe I'll have him in my team in 2 weeks. Who knows?
The other 7.5 forwards. You have Wood, you have Havertz, Wissa, João Pedro, Mateta, Seshko, and then Solanke. I would argue by the end of the season, Wissa and Wood are going to be the best assets for 7.5s.
I disagree.
Who do you think is going to be the best then?
Seshko.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
My bet there is Wissa goes to Newcastle. I think Wissa would absolutely love, and this is why he's holding out for the move, because the fit makes sense. He's going to love playing with Lenga and then Gordon. They're all so pacey, but I think they're going to have a dynamic where they play well together, and that midfield really supports them very well.
I agree. I think he does. Like, he fits the mentality of Newcastle really well. He's just a scrappy footballer that scores goals that he probably shouldn't. And he's very creative too. Like, I think he's he's a great chaos agent at the top of that Newcastle attack. I just don't know like how many goals are going to be there really for Newcastle this season though. Because I mean, he is a completely different profile than Isak, who, I mean, like we talked about, who is legitimately one of the best strikers in the world. There's going to be a drop off from there. I just don't know if the output's going to reach like a level where I'm like, oh yeah, I want to move for him at 7.5, you know?
He's going to have his stretches if he makes the move to Newcastle, where he's going to be in a lot of FPL teams, in my opinion.
Possibly. Man.
And if he makes the move, I think I could easily see myself bringing him in at some point in the season. So something to keep an eye on there. The last pretender that we wanted to talk about, whether they are a pretender or not, is Kudus. Do you think Kudus is someone who's a must-have in our teams? Or is he someone that had a good week, but maybe you don't think should be in our teams?
Oh, man. For his price point, what is he?
6.5.
6.5. That is an absolute, I think, almost a necessity in people's teams going forward.
I think he's gone up in price, too.
He may be 6.6. Logistically, we're not talking that big of a difference, but I think he needs to honestly be in almost every FPL manager's team, because if you saw how much, like, if you watched that Spurs match, he is everywhere. He's somebody that could be on DEFCON points. He is going to be, I think he's probably going to be one of the breakout players of the Premier League season.
Yeah,
so
I agree too.
I think he's the opposite of a pretender.
Yeah, I think so too. We just kind of threw him in there because I thought it'd be a good area for us to discuss. But he is someone that we were both really big fans of from an FPL perspective going into the season. We were telling people, you should get him into your team. He's going to be really good value. Spurs are going to have a good season. Thomas Frank's a great manager. He's a great pick. And I think if you don't have him, maybe not this week. City away is a tricky fixture, but get him in your team at some point, because he's going to score goals, but he's going to create a lot of chances for the Spurs team.
Mm-hmm.
And he's now surrounded by other players who can convert those chances. It's not just Jared Bowen that's around him now.
Mm-hmm.
He's around a lot more talented of a squad.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Luke. Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. We said that from all the way through the preseason up to the start. Kudus is a fantastic player in Thomas Frank's system. He's kind of perfect for that right wing position.
He is
the way Thomas Frank likes to play.
Even Thomas Frank, sometimes he loves to go to a back five, play with those not inverted wing backs, but bombing those wing backs forward, and then he'll push his wingers into almost like a double striker front. And Kudus is really going to like that, I think.
Yeah, because he can hit a
He'll
ball
have
too.
Space, and he won't have to play as wide. Almost as like a 10, maybe a 9. I think he's going to score a lot of goals because of that too. So, yeah, I think that is going to bring us to the end of the podcast. Do you have any final thoughts for our listeners out there, Paul?
I don't know, man. I'm just dreaming of
of Eze
of Eze and that 10 kid. It's gonna be crazy.
I'm just picturing Paul going to sleep in his favorite Arsenal kit with his fingers crossed into the
Doing a little
SAT
Eze celebration. Yeah, man, it is.
Gosh.
I don't know. I do think not even just talking about the Eze transfer though, like seeing how the deadline ends. We're still going to see a lot of changes as FPL managers. Like we were talking about, if we see Wissa move, if we see, I don't know, what are the other big ones moving right now?
Isak would be a huge one.
If we see him go, that's a big domino to fall.
Another interesting one to watch is Rodrigo from Real Madrid potentially making the move to Man City. If he goes to Man City, that's going to be
or Arsenal.
That's not going to happen now. I don't think.
I don't know. They're talking about a loan deal.
Well, if that happens, that would be great. That would be great for Arsenal. So keep an eye on Rodrigo. I can't think of anything else that really stands out. So keep an eye on Twitter and everything. There are journalists out there reporting on this constantly. So
we'll give you our inside information sometime soon.
Yeah, at some point. It's in our Patreon. Just go ahead and join.
Yeah, it's really hard to find though.
Yeah. It definitely is. But that is going to do it for this week. My final advice to everyone out there: if you feel like you had a bad game week, don't knee-jerk too much. It's the first game week. Everything's going to average out over the long run. Just make sure you feel good about your team. And because there were plenty of great teams out there that I saw that were on 32 points, 35 points. And next week, those teams could go and get 80 or 90 points. If you have the belief in your team and the players that you selected, stick with them. That's my advice. Give them at least a couple weeks. And then you can make drastic changes if you feel like you need to around game week 3, game week 4. At least the biggest piece of advice, wait till after the first international break is what I'm thinking.
I agree with you, Luke. That's also a really big thing to highlight, the international break. You really don't want to make moves before. Wait till after. Let the dust settle. And then you can make those big changes like we've discussed previously. You can do a lot more changes to your team and not have repercussions farther down the season. So, like I said, just give it time if you believe in your squad and let them prove that they deserve to be there,
Yes, for sure. Well, it's been fun, Paul. I hope the listeners out there have learned a lot from this podcast. If nothing else, just had a good time. Well, we're going to have to go and kill the bug that's in this room. So we will talk with you all soon, and have a good game week this week, everyone.
Best of luck, everybody.